Okay, guys, so I had to take down the latest video that I had because I realized that I've got no audio. And so I had to take it down. I was talking for 10 minutes long, and then after the video was done, I realized that I have no audio. Second, about my camera, I'm not in any shape to go on camera now, you guys, so there will be no camera. You're just going to be hearing my voice. But today we're going to be talking about disgraced former Minneapolis police officer Deric Chauvin. He got what he deserved. I'm sure the entire, not just America, but the entire world is pleased with the conviction, with the verdict that he got guilty, guilty, guilty. Because if he never had gotten that, it would have been just so crazy. So I'm very, very happy, elated, excited that he has gotten guilty. It goes to show that you just cannot hurt people and get away with it like that. Like it just doesn't work like that. So once more, he is guilty and he is behind bars. Very, very, very exciting news. So many people would have been nervous. The prosecution, they did speak out after his guilty verdict, and I was able to watch it, and it's amazing. And I'll be doing another video on that. But let's talk about Deric Chauvin, what he is experiencing now, and his life, and what life will be like for him in prison. Now, as we know that he was reprimanded immediately into a high, I heard it's number 5 security prison, which means that it is one of the highest securities in America, which means that he is in solitary confinement right now. Yes, Deric Chauvin will not have any friends or any family members. He will be tucked away from all of society. But not only that, Deric Chauvin will also not be in general population. So it will just be him and the scary walls of prison crumbling right in front of him. In these types of prison, you also will not have people, he will not have any contact with people. So when they're giving him his breakfast, his lunch, his dinner, whatever they're giving him, they're just going to push it through a window like the animal that he is. No, he won't be able to see anyone. Good for Deric Chauvin. I'm happy about that. He'll be in an orange jumpsuit for a long, long time. As we know, his sentencing will be in 8 weeks, where the judge will be determining what his fate is, how long he'll be staying in prison. We know that he is faced with up to 40 years, but as a first time, as a person with perhaps no criminal record, then it could be much lighter than that. The guidelines for sentencing is just 12 years. And if you haven't known yet, Deric Chauvin has chosen not to have jurors decide how many years he'll be spending in prison, but the judge, which I believe would be, ruling based on common sense and what he feels, and not just emotion. And I think that was a good part on Deric Chauvin, because I do think that if the jurors were to choose that, they would have given him the maximum and ignore all guidelines and go with their emotion and give him 40 years. So he's looking anywhere from 12 to 40 years, and I do believe that it's going to be closer to 12. Please note, though, that Deric Chauvin has already done this before. And nope, it's not his first rodeo. He has done this before. He has been, I heard, he's knelt on the neck of someone, a boy, a 14-year-old boy who was called for domestic violence. He knelt on his neck for 15 minutes, I was told. God was on that boy's side. He didn't die. But what I heard was more interesting, because based on what I'm hearing, all of this is going to go in front of the court, because right now he is actually being investigated for that very, offense that they're saying that he has committed when he knelt on the neck of a boy for 50 minutes after he was saying that he couldn't breathe. And it's also not the second time. There have been other complaints about him, 17 in his whole life. So I do believe that the judge is going to take this into consideration. Not only that, but remember that a child, 2 children, 2 minors were there at the time under the age of 18. We know that Darnell Stella Fraser, the person who took the video, she was under 18 and she saw the act of Deric Chauvin, committing the crime against George Floyd. And so the judge might also take that into consideration, as well as the little 8-year-old girl at the time and the love top. So, the judge can take all of that into consideration and kind of pile up, his time, so he does a more lengthier time than the original guideline. But what's up for Deric Chauvin? What's going to happen to him? A lot. But you know what? I have an advice for the Floyd family. And my advice to them would be this: because as soon as Deric Chauvin gets out of prison, he's going to be making money left, right, and center, because he's not going to be in there for life. Deric Chauvin will not be in prison for life. He's going to come out. And right-wing media, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a position from Fox News to be working, because that's what the right love. They love things like this. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a book deal. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts being an outspoken person for right-wing media, because as the results are coming out, over 40% of Republicans believe that Deric Chauvin is not guilty. I don't know. If you don't call that racist, then tell me what it is. Like, I don't know. Don't you see the video right there? Okay. So it's very interesting. So my advice would be to the Floyd family to listen. Make sure that you file a lawsuit to make sure that Deric Chauvin does not profit from George Floyd's death, does not get to have a book deal writing about his prison life after he's been convicted, of murder. If they can, I do believe that that should be obtained, because like everyone was saying, this is really not justice. A man lost his life like a dog on the side of a road. He couldn't breathe on the dirty street in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's not justice. And the pain and the suffering. And I believe that if Deric Chauvin gets out of prison, because he's not getting life sentence, if he does get out of prison alive, he's going to be making crazy money from this. And he shouldn't. He shouldn't. You cannot profit from taking another person's life. You should not profit from that. So that would be my advice to them, to get a good lawyer and to obtain that. That is something that people have done. I don't know if you remember the case where the father killed his 2 daughters and his wife. And, the family had done that. I don't remember what the man's name is. I think, Chris Watts. And they were able to get that. So I believe that the Floyd family really deserve that, and they should certainly look into that. Deric Chauvin is actually on suicide watch, because, as you know, this is not just a local thing. This is a global thing. Everyone across the globe is watching, has been tuning in, has been watching live what is going on. They're listening to the media reports. We're taken live inside the courtroom, and people are there listening and looking on. So this is something that everyone cares about. Everyone is really talking about that. And as a result, Deric Chauvin is in high security. And usually when it's a high profile case like this, what happens is that people like these are normally on, watch lists for in case they decide to commit suicide. So that's why he's in here. Not only that, but he cannot go into general population. Deric Chauvin is perhaps one of the most not liked or the most unliked person in America right now. And so I don't see him ever being able to go into general population. So he is just going to be there. And it's crazy. I once watched a documentary of a man trying to survive 24 hours in confinement, and he couldn't. It was like he was going insane. So I cannot imagine what he's gonna do for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But what's going to happen? We are social beings, we need people. So I'm sure that he will be suffering. He will certainly be suffering. Life is nothing like he knew it. And even after he gets out, I'm absolutely sure that Deric Chauvin will not be able to have a normal life. I don't see Deric Chauvin being able to go across the street, for some for some cookies and milk. I don't see Deric Chauvin being able to get a job anywhere. I don't see Deric Chauvin being able to go hang out with his friends, just like that. I don't see him ever being able to do that. And good for him. I'm very happy that that is what happened, because you just are not allowed to take another person's life and do that. Like I said, prosecution team, they sat down with 60 Minutes and have a lengthy conversation. I haven't watched all of it, but I'll be watching, and I'll be having some videos about that and looking at what they're saying. But I guess what they're saying is that they were really nervous during the whole time, because police officers are generally never convicted of crimes, even when we see them literally hurting someone who's not doing anything. Because jurors usually associate police officers with people who are supposed to serve and protect, and don't usually see them as people who are going to hurt or, commit a crime. And so they were really nervous. They had good cases. They were really, really, really good lawyers. In fact, they weren't even paid to prosecute Deric Chauvin. They volunteered. They are from top law firms that they recruited, and they volunteered, and they put the work in to make sure. There were witnesses upon witnesses who testified, and they didn't even get paid. There's so many people who are heavily invested into this case because of what they've seen. And the prosecution team, they said never, ever, ever in the trial. We knew we had compelling evidence. We knew he was guilty, but because of history, we just were not sure. We just were not sure what was going to happen, what would the outcome be. So when I heard the judge get up there and he opened the envelope, and for me, my heart was pounding. I was really scared. I thought that he would have been convicted. I really did think that, because they were really good prosecutors, and when you see the video, it's so compelling. But somewhere in the back of my head, I'm like, are they going to be is he going to be convicted? And then it was the same thing with the prosecution team. They were very, very scared. But when you hear guilty for the first one, and then guilty for number two, and guilty for number three, and you saw Deric Chauvin's eyes and how surprised and shocked he was, um, it was just amazing for me. It was a day of celebration, and the prosecution get to also celebrate, not just them, but all of America in general got to celebrate. Well, the people who in America who are not racist, and the rest of the world got to celebrate. Um, I have so many things that I want to share, and I am very, very excited to share them with you, because these are conversations that we need to have. There are lots of things that we need to talk about, and I can't wait for my next live uploads. Guys, I mostly do lives because I'm terrible at editing. I don't know how to edit, and it takes a lot of time, but I just go live and then just post, and you can see. So remember to check my channel out again. I'll try my best to make sure that I give you notification, because a lot of things are going to come up next. We're going to talk about prosecution and a lot of other things that I don't want to share now. But thank you so much for joining with me. I'm going to end this live stream now, and I will see you next time. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, because people need to know what is going on in the world, in America, that claims to be the best country in the world. And I'm not disputing that. But we cannot have a country that claims to be the best country in the world tolerate things like these. How much more? And so people do need to know what is going on. This information needs to be out there, because it cannot be business as usual. Like I said, thank you once more. I'm not going to ramble any further. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.